Welcome to the Dental Brief, the world's direct, right-to-the-point podcast produced to get you the information you need to learn and grow your practice. To learn more about our guests and find links to information discussed on our show, visit our website, dentalbrief.com. On to today's episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Dental Brief. Today we have with us a very special guest coming to us from British Columbia. Danielle Nott, say hello.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're glad to have you here. You're from such a beautiful part of North America. Lived in Seattle for 5 years myself. So
awesome.
Yeah, so very, very similar. I wanted to talk first a little bit, let our audience down here kind of get to know you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into dentistry.
Sure. Well, you could probably say that it's a family thing. My grandma was a dental assistant for, probably 40 years. Then my mom was a dental assistant. And so when I was choosing my path when I was in high school, I just said I was going to do the same thing that they did. I went off to college in Cranbrook, BC, got my certification, been working in dentistry now for, probably 22 years. Started off as a CDA, went on to be treatment plan coordinator, reception, office management, and now consulting. The last couple of years, I also worked as the BC implementation specialist for AbleDent, which is a dental software company.
Wow.
Yeah, and that sort of broadened me into opening up the consulting, because as I went into these practices, not only to work on their software, I was really finding that the dentists had a greater need. It had to do more than just training them on software. The teams really needed some help in many other areas, and they were reaching out to me, and so the consulting started.
Right. It's amazing. I know there's some people that obviously, wake up one day and they go, I want to be a consultant, but so many others just, really fall into it, right? They're in a position and see a need and they are able to help someone with what to them seems like this unmanageable or unsolvable problem. And then you're like, wait a minute, you're not the only one. And then kind of off you go. So tell us a little bit about kind of like some of your favorite things to consult about. What are some issues that practices are having that you just love to like jump in and that you're just really passionate about?
I'm really passionate about, I do love dentistry, but I'm really in this to help people. So one things I really like to do is helping them plan. So making a plan for their practice. So if a dentist has goals of what he wants to do for a year, it's really stepping back and working backwards. And okay, well, what are you going to have to do every day or every week or every month to hit those goals, and really just coming up with a plan for them and helping them execute that, and then getting the team on board to work with the dentist to help him reach his goals. Yeah,
that's interesting. And it's kind of, what we were talking about before we started recording is, you brought up morning huddles, right? And I see it as like, gosh, what do you talk about in these morning huddles? And they almost seem like, if you have to have one every single day, there's really nothing to go over. What do you do? So kind of talk about what you're experiencing, or what are you seeing with dentists? What are you seeing in this, what could be such an amazing way to start the day and to help execute your goals for that day and plans for that day? What do you see tell me, what's the feedback that you get from dentists on these that are struggling with them?
Yeah, so I think what happens is on a day-to-day basis, practices are running reactively rather than proactively. So they're running into these issues every day that if they just would have taken the time the day before to look at the day ahead, they probably could have solved 99% of the problems that they're having that day. We look at a lot of different things. The goal of the Huddle is to reduce the stress, identify opportunities to increase revenue, working towards what can we do to give the patients the best experience for this day. So every day your huddle is going to be different. Like you say, like, oh, well, you have one every day. What are you guys talking about? You're talking about that day, and every day is different. Every patient is different. So there's a lot of things that we want to look at. But you need to look at them beforehand, not 10 minutes before your first patient arrives. You're scrambling through charts. I really encourage offices that if they're going to implement a huddle or plan for the day, that they have a guideline for it, and it's done, by 10 or 11 o'clock the day before, so that you have all day to figure out all of your problems for tomorrow and try to fix them before they happen.
So you're actually saying you recommend that, let's just say today is Wednesday. You think Wednesday morning by 10, 11 o'clock, that practice should have already looked at Thursday.
Exactly.
So really that far ahead of the time.
Yeah, the day before, always prepping the day before. I don't know how many times I've been in an office where, there's a new patient coming in and patient's in the chair and the CDA is coming running up to the front. Oh, did we get the x-rays from the other office yet? Well, the patient's already in the chair. It's
Right.
Too late for that. You should have looked at that the day before and made sure that they were there. And those little things happen every day, all day.
Those little tiny things, a lot of times people think that a patient will leave a practice over a little tiny thing. They don't. Obviously, there's always unreasonable people. Typically, it's just a lot of little things that kind of add up, right? Just these little, hey, where's this or that. I had years ago, practice actually lost a permanent crown. So the first time I'd ever had a crown, and it wasn't there. So they should have, I would think they should have known the day before or that day at least that it wasn't there, and saved me a lot of agony, time and what have you. So let's talk about the morning huddle. I know, like I said, a lot of practices do it. I guess is that it's just kind of become like a formality for a lot of practices, and it's something that they just kind of wander through. Give us our audience 2 or 3 things, 3, maybe even 4 steps that they can take today to make that morning huddle just awesome, right? Just to make it really sing and have some serious impact on the day and the day after.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, you should always start a huddle off positively. Everyone's gathered for the day, whether you're the manager or the dentist, whoever's that leader should be setting the tone for the day. I have a list, something that's going to be downloadable for your listeners. It's going to give them a guideline on certain items that they should be looking at. Here's a few though. You're always going to be wanted. One thing that I notice a lot of practices don't look for is if you've got a 2-hour hole, so say you're doing your huddle for Thursday and you've got a 2-hour hole on Friday, the whole team should be aware of that. If your hygienist has a patient in the chair that day that needs a crown and they can help you try to fill that hole tomorrow, that's huge.
Right.
Yeah, just making everybody aware of what's going on in the practice. Identifying your new patients. Where did they come from? Why are they there to see you? Getting everybody on board with what their goals are so they know in advance when they come in. And of course, having their x-rays and everything ready before they get there. Yeah. If you're doing gift bags, that's a note that I have on my huddle. If you've got new patient gift bags, making sure those are all ready to go. They're filled up, they're at the front desk. Just making sure you're fully prepared for them. I'm a huge advocate for internal marketing and asking for referrals. So sitting down with the team and going, hey guys, who's coming in today and who can we ask for a referral? You might not be able to target everybody, or maybe somebody knows that you asked that last person last week.
Sure.
So looking at those sort of things. Some offices don't like to talk about revenue and production. I'm a big advocate for it. I think the team should know, where are we at this month in our target to goal. And what opportunities do we have today that will help us reach that goal? It's all about creating an ideal schedule, being efficient, and making sure everybody has a great day.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And as far as a download, you mentioned our audience, there was a download that you'd be able to share with them. Would that be on your website or put it on ours or both?
Yeah, it's on both. I did, if you guys can post it on your site, I've sent the link to Moira, and it's a free download. It's basically your blueprint for the day, guides you for your huddle, and then also works as sort of a little checklist for the admin team so they can set themselves up for having a good day as well, to have a good day. Yeah.
Sure. So, we always like to be positive. We always like to talk about solutions, but what are a couple like really dangerous things or really harmful things that you see that are common that are going on morning huddles? And then to make it positive, how can you stop that? What is something that you see and you go, oh my goodness, I can't believe they're talking about this, or this is happening right now? Yeah,
well, I think what happens at a huddle is if you don't have a blueprint or something to follow and specific things that you're looking at every day, the huddle ends up just becoming sort of a gripe session, or, like things will come up that really the huddle is not meant for. It's meant to talk about and plan for that day, maybe not talk about something that happened yesterday. And then the team is all just scrambled. They're trying so hard to rush through this huddle because they've got completely off topic. So yeah, I think just staying focused, using a template like mine, or making one for yourself that's relative to your practice, and just sticking with the same things every day, and trying not to get too off track.
Sure.
Yeah, and being present and on time. A lot of times the huddle, they'll say it's starting at 7:45 every morning, and people are coming in late and they're scrambled, and then people get flustered with them, like, why are we doing this? They're not effective, but they can be if everyone's on time and present and you're all prepared. Again, preparing the day before is huge.
What's the ideal length of time, do you think, for a morning huddle for a typical practice?
I'd give it 15 minutes. Yeah, I know a lot of people will do 10, but I think if you're going to look at, those KPIs that I was talking about, you're going to want to give yourself 15 minutes and try not to be too rushed.
That's I agree with you. We always try to keep meetings short, to the point. We make sure that you're not just, if it needs to be longer, don't just cut it off for the sake of cutting it off. That's not helpful either. Danielle, I want to thank you so much for coming on, sharing the download today with our audience. I want to tell our audience about your website. It's dndentalconsulting.com, correct?
Yes.
Great. And place to learn more about you and what you can offer dentists, office managers, hygienists, assistants, all the way down. So thank you so much for coming on today. We really appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you so much for inviting me. And yeah, check out the download. I hope it'll help you. And yeah, it was really, really great to chat with you guys.
Awesome. Come back sometime soon.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode. Did you know you can weigh in on today's topic on Facebook? Search The Dental Brief on Facebook or visit our website, dentalbrief.com, and just follow the link. We look forward to having you join us again on another episode of The Dental Brief.